it meant anything goes. Anyone could die, anyone could fall in love, anyone could die, anyone could fall in love, anyone could die, anyone could die.
Asian apocalypse.
Concept was so cool.
Asian apocalypse.
Concept was so cool.
People couldn't believe it. They had to believe it. People couldn't believe it. They had to believe it.
Everything that you hit on the no level. Out the window. Everything that you hit on the no level. Out the window. Everything that you hit on the no level. Out the window.
I'm Jeremy Greer.
And I'm Gary Butterfield.
And this is Days of Future Cast, the podcast where Gary and I talk about the end of the world, not the real one, Gary, just the X-Man world.
This could be what happens. It's not too late. 2020 still has 6 more months.
Trump dies, or excuse me, Xavier dies, and Trump is elected. That's the far-flung future that we are living in right now.
Yeah. And then after that, it's only a short hop, skip, and a jump to genetic harvesting.
I feel like we're already here now. Like I feel like
it's certainly happening.
Somebody somewhere
world?
is either voluntarily or involuntarily giving their genetic material to a rich person.
Yeah.
No,
I've been giving my genetic material to people all the time.
Whoa.
Genetic material is cum, I'm pretty sure. Like in the X-Men lore.
I mean, it's not just cum.
No, but that's part of it.
I mean,
like whenever
it
Mr.
can be
Sinister
cum and
looks
also
at
not be cum, right? Like, I mean, it's
Schrodinger's cum. When Mr. Sinister looks at the Summers brothers and is like, "Yes, I want to get their genetic material."
Oh, he's definitely.
I'm pretty sure
he's definitely talking about cum. Yeah, that's Mr. Sinister though. He's got a cum thing.
Shake and bake. Yeah.
You
can tell.
I don't remember which issue it is. It may be the one that we're covering today at Factor X3, but the one where Mr. Sinister is looking at a computer and it just has Scott Summers on one screen and Jean Grey on the next, and I'm seriously expected like some figures to like start humping one another in the middle somehow.
His desktop. It's like Smithers' computer in The Simpsons. It's like,
exactly.
You are very good at turning me on. We're well into the number 3s now, and in the reading order, we're covering Factor X, number 3. For people, to remember what happened the last Factor X, Scott got caught. Scott's been putting on a holographic Magneto disguise and ferrying people out of the breeding pens and such. He took out Aurora and Northstar. However, there's a security camera and Havoc saw him.
If you could have a holographic disguise of anybody, not just X-Men, we'll extend this into IRL too. Like, who do you think it would be? Like, what do you...
Magneto.
Okay. All right, Gary. Okay. Why do you always have to take my pick?
I think whenever I'm confronted with a question like that, like my impulse is always to like take it seriously and figure out how I could like do some kind of good. So it might be like Trump, and then I would go on TV and then, tell all my followers to
immediately get shot as a Trump impersonator because your sentences make too much sense.
Yeah, exactly. People would be on to me. I'd start. We've all heard of QAnon, but what about the other letters of the alphabet? Start A through Xenon automatically. Anon through Xenon. Yeah, I feel like I could like get drunk enough to sound like him, and then just tell everybody to like wear a mask and don't vote for me.
So the Joe Biden method is what you're going for.
Yeah. I would take the Joe Biden approach to Trump.
Okay.
Like, have you seen me?
Just crazy enough to work.
Yeah. Who even knows? Nothing will work because we are in the age of apocalypse.
This cover is something.
I want to brush all their hair. Like they all have big, long, luxurious hair.
That was it was really hard to keep up with chat during Duckfest, but that was the one thing I saw when we were doing Monster of the Week is somebody said that they wanted to brush Chris's hair. I was like, wow, literally nobody has said that to me ever in 39 years on this earth. Nobody has ever thought that about me.
Amazing amount of Chris thirst in the chat. It's pretty wild. As my first exposure to Monster of the Week, just like, oh, okay, this fandom is horny.
Yes. Yeah, this is a green dude with silver pants. I guess who is this supposed to be, Garrett?
This is Beast.
That is Beast?
That's Dark Beast, man. That's Dark Beast weird pants.
That doesn't look anything like. Okay, cool. That
is the Dark Beast.
I like how
it is weird, impossible to put on pants.
These steel capris, I guess is what you would call these adamantium capris. I want to be protected, but only from my thighs up to my waist.
Yeah, only my shins, only my thighs to my shins, and nothing in between. He's taken out Cyclops and Jean Grey. We knew Jean Grey was coming. Mm-hmm. He's holding her hand.
And we open the comic in the pens, in the kennel, which is also sometimes referred to as the pens, as this like mutant creation of Henry McCoy, a 9-foot, 1,300-pound mutant hybrid, is just tearing through a bunch of infinites trying to get it under control.
Yeah. I got the sense that this was like a subset of the pens. Like this is where the animal mutants go.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like there's the pens, and then within that there's like the kennel, which is just where it's like how insulting, because they show a couple guys who are just in their cages obeying the law. There's like a bat guy and a goblin or whatever, and they're just like, oh shit.
It really seems bad that Batman put me here, right? Like this doesn't seem commensurate with the crime.
Yeah, I can be a infinite.
I was just scaring ladies through their windows, and now I'm in the kennels. This is just wrong.
But they're putting down this little riot of this escaped werewolf, basically. And they Cyclops and Havoc are kind of chatting about it after Havoc knocks down this werewolf. And Havoc is being extremely unsubtle during the whole beginning of this comic. It's very funny. Like he knows that Cyclops is a traitor. And he's just constantly just like, yeah, but you already know about that, don't you? You weren't on patrol, were you, brother? And it's just like, you guys are all standing around a bunch of people. You're in public. Like, this is not very sly, Havoc.
At the end of the last issue with Factor X, I really expected Havoc to like play to set up traps for Cyclops, right? To watch Cyclops try to figure out when he's gonna try to steal out another mutant from the pens, and then like arrange for Apocalypse to be on site or something, right? Like to let Cyclops like tie his noose or whatever. But instead, it's just constant taunting in front of everybody. Like, I know what you traitor, and he's like, Cyclops is like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. What are you doing?
And Cyclops is also playing dumb. Like both of these Summers brothers are fucking idiots in this, because Cyclops, it feels like he could probably surmise that Havoc knows something based on Havoc's extremely poor poker face. Also, can we mention how Cyclops is driving his motorcycle inside?
Yes, 100%.
Just like pulled up on his bike in the middle of the jail.
This feels very like Silicon Valley. Just got my venture capital and formed my company, kind of CEO style right here, right? Like he's the boss of this crew, and he's like, I'm just driving my motorcycle on the inside.
Yep. We get beanbag chairs, pinball tables, and motorcycles.
Yeah, well, I mean, we have motorcycle.
Come for work for pin. Yeah, we have motorcycle. Every other Friday, there's a raffle for an employee to get a chance to drive it around, to sit on the back. So Havoc's taunting him. He gets attacked by the werewolf. Cyclops takes out the werewolf and saves him.
Cuts it in half, man. Kind of violent.
Yeah, he does. When he hesitates too, he's like, "Why do I hesitate? I have a clear shot. It's killing my brother," and then zaps him in half. Cool.
I love the way that people think in this comic book sometimes. Like literally ask, why do I hesitate? Like as your hand, like imagine if you thought that way, right? Of like, why am I making this joke? Do I need to make this joke? Does this joke make me racist? Like
the internal monologue that happens in comics. Like this is if you're a fan of thought balloons, this comic is huge.
Absolutely. Yeah. He cuts this dude in half and then tries to help his brother up, but his brother is still like you will never be forgiven, and I'm going to take this place over now. And he kind of looks over to this like prison cell basically of like deformed mutants, and he's like, this used to feel good, but now it doesn't feel good anymore. And I'm like, you should really question why this felt good at all, my man.
Yeah. There's a Cyclops basically just like flips around to a good guy in this issue. Like he's been doing some secret good, but the idea of like, it's pretty weird that Xavier died and then Cyclops for a long time was way into death camps.
Yeah.
And just like real okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. For it's hard to say how long, but like this shit had to be built, like so for quite a while. And I love, he just thinks that Havoc is being resentful. When he's like, some trespasses will never be forgiven. You'll understand soon enough. I promise. And he's just like, oh, all he does is hate me. No. He knows something, man. Something's changed. So he talks about how he can't get everybody out.
Yeah.
He wants to. We go outside where Jean Grey's sneaking in. She sneaks in a little like, I don't know what it is. A little like transport unit,
dude. It's
wagon.
Wagon. It's a wagon. It's
a wagon.
It's an Enter the Gungeon reference,
wagon.
Right? Like this is when Enter the Gungeon 2 comes out and there's vehicles. There's definitely going to be a wagon, like a station
Enter
wagon.
the Gungeon 2 wagon. Station wagon is I'm surprised that didn't happen.
It could be. It's probably in there somewhere. Like we're just going to look at it.
I wish, or maybe it's an Exit the Gungeon, which I've not played that much. She's in this like corpse transport. They're transporting all these corpses down to the genetic processing lab or whatever. And it smells like rotting corpses in there, which is this whole thing. Like, I don't know what the mood I was in. I was reading this, but it made me really queasy.
Okay.
I was thinking about being in the wagon. I don't like the wagon. So she knocks out this dude with her staff and then pilots his body around to make her look like a prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty cool. Like he's unconscious and she can just puppet him.
And
that's neat.
She's kind of thinking that like, hey, this would be a lot easier if Logan was here, but he wouldn't stop helping the Human Council drop nukes on New York, so I can't hang out with him anymore. And we get kind of a flashback to whatever issue that was with the airplane. He was hanging on to
X2.
Yeah. He was hanging onto the airplane while like she's taking off of it and they're yelling at each other. There's a bizarre, I know he just climbed out of a fire in this panel, but man, the hair in this thing is just wild. Like I didn't realize his hair grew back because of his healing factor too. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, the art changes too. This is Terry Dodson now, who helped out with the art of this. So it's a big art shift. And I was like, oh, the art is just going to be like this during the flashback. But then it's like this kind of weird amalgam for the rest of the issue between the two artists. It's really awkward.
Yeah.
And we've also already seen this scene. She's basically says, and it's interesting too, because like Wolverine's like, oh, you can't go back to warn the United States about what's coming. And she's like, well, you have to kill me if you want to stop me from that. But then we find out that she's not going back to warn them. She's trying to go back to get out as many prisoners as she can. Like she's not planning to like just warn people in general. She's basically, doing the same thing that Astonishing X-Men did.
Yeah.
Like in doing that big Exodus thing. It's kind of weird. Like I feel like she could have just told Wolverine that, like, hey, let's see if we can delay the Human High Council for a little bit. And get out some of the prisoners. Is basically her whole plan, which doesn't seem like something Wolverine would rankle against. I thought the next time we record, we're going to talk about Nation X or whatever, which talks about the Human High Council, and I'm looking forward to that because I forgot what happens in those comics.
Yeah,
and I'm interested.
So Jean Grey starts sneaking in. She has a hard time at first with the disembodied telepaths, the brain trust. If people remember. They've got literal brains of telepaths hooked up to a machine that like kind of keeps everybody under psychic pressure, and they can't use their abilities, and also serves as kind of a detection system. She's able to get around that, but she can't keep up her puppetry of the. She can't keep. We can end up burning the Infinite guy, so she has to drop him and go in on her own. Yeah.
Yep. She's going into Sinister's sanctum here, and I guess the reason she's coming here is because Sinister is the one who tipped them off and gave them the data rods or whatever they needed in the first issue of Weapon X.
Data rods.
Data rods to try to stop things.
I guess I'd rather have a data rod than a data Ron. You know what I'm saying?
Data Ron. Hello. my name is Ron, but you can call me Data Ron.
I'm not going to do that, Ron. I'm sorry. It's not going to happen. You can't choose your own nickname, you weirdo.
Start adding my name is, and just do the nickname thing. And then, but you can call me the longer, less formal thing. Which is actually extremely X-Men. My name is Scott, but you can call me Cyclops, is extremely X-Men. She runs into Wolvesbane here, which I think is supposed to be Wolvesbane. Somebody in the Slack mentioned that. This is Beast's pet mutant.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I think this is because she says buried in this wolf psyche or buried within the animal is a psyche that's human.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
And so Dark Beast has decided to make Wolvesbane a wolf. And I think that was probably a little nod to the people who were reading X Factor.
Sure. Yeah.
At the time, because Wolfsbane was in X Factor at the time.
Yeah, we got to check in on everybody.
Exactly. If you were a huge Wolfsbane stan and this Age of Apocalypse thing happened, you'd be like, "Where's my girl? Where's Ronnie?" But because she was attacked by this wolf, Havoc gets the drop on her.
Yep. And
zaps her.
He's super excited because now not only does he have what he's calling a rope around his brother's neck, but he also has found this race traitor in Jean Grey, and she's going to bring him back, and he's going to bring her back to McCoy. Before we get into any of that, we're going to flip over to Angel's weird nightclub in the sky, heaven.
Yes.
And this weird subplot of, I guess Havoc has knocked this human singer up at this point. Is this?
Yeah, she's extremely prego.
Yeah,
she's pregante.
Yeah. She's F-preg, as the AO3 people like to.
She's been F-pregged. F-pregged with extreme prejudice.
Ooh. Extreme prejudice. I don't know why that's bad. It's not a real word. It doesn't even make sense. Prejudice is weird. So she's feeling kind of nauseated, and she still has to sing. But before she can go back on stage to do her second set, the Bedlam brothers show up, and unfortunately, they're not here to party this time. They are here to arrest her.
Yeah.
She has been working with the humans, and Apocalypse knows that because in the Amazing X-Men, they had gotten Karma to confess that. So Karma sold her out.
Yep. She tries to run. They scramble her brain. And they're just like, hey, we thought it might be better if somebody you knew took you in. It's nothing personal. She begs Warren for help, and Warren is like, does Alex know about Babby? Does Alex know how Babby is formed?
And she says it's hard no. He does not know how Babby is formed at all.
No. He Havoc doesn't know anything. He probably I got very frustrated with Havoc at this point because this is not a story of forbidden love. He's still a huge racist.
Yeah.
To her. He's I can't be caught dating a flat scan and stuff. And I just want to be like, wear a fucking rubber, dude.
Yeah, seriously.
How could you not foresee this? What is sex ed like in the Age of Apocalypse? Not good.
Probably about the same as it is right now, which is not
just
great.
A screensaver of Mr. Sinister smiling. Just Jesus Christ, man. Just it's not hard not to get a girl pregnant.
Mr. Sinister sex ed is just abstinence works unless you're a Summers brother.
Yeah. Abstinence for all except for the Summers.
Is your last name Summer or Gray? Please exit to this room.
Like a tired teacher puts in a VHS tape and you see Mr. Sinister's just like, yes, Scott, I'm talking to you. Scott's just in the back like, whoa.
27 other people in the class going, are you serious again with this guy?
Yeah. So we watch this every day, teach.
I was hoping it would be blowjobs this week.
Yeah. And the blowjob unit was woefully underexplained. So I'm very disappointed in Havoc here. Angel basically says, Havoc's gonna take this really hard, and the Bedlam brothers look out for yourself, man. Everybody who works for you is a spy.
Yeah, this is not good for you, my man.
Yeah. So this and the issue of Astonishing that we read both are kind of dealing with Angel taking a side.
Yeah,
it's a subplot this week. So Alex starts taking Scott down. He's like, I got something to show you. You're a traitor. Cyclops just does his solution to everything, which is you're way out of line. Which is he says to Havoc all the time.
I tried to say this to Autumn the other day, and it did not work whatsoever. She was like, "Can you help me with the laundry?" I'm like, "You're way out of line," and she's like, "What the fuck?
Excuse me?
This is not a podcast. Just come fucking help me."
Yeah, you're way out of the line. I'm gonna start saying that to Pocket. You're way out of line.
You're way out of line, Pocket. Pocket just perked up and was like, "Do I need to destroy something? I'm ready."
Yeah, start treating Pocket more like Scott tweets Alex. There's a really weird panel here. So he takes him downstairs. He's trying to show him where they've got Jean Grey. This top panel feels poorly composed to me.
Okay.
With the top of Scott's head cut off.
Yes. How much
just,
taller is this image?
Yeah, it's just real weird. But yeah, he's like, look what the cat dragged in. It's Jean Grey.
Yep. And he kind of runs it down like, we found her as a race trader. We're going to turn it over to McCoy to find out what she knows. McCoy is basically like, she can resist all of my stuff, so I'm going to have to increase the voltage to elicit a more cooperative response. And of course, she's talking back like, you couldn't do this 3 years ago. Why do you think you're going to be able to do it now? And of course, Scott and Jean look at each other, and there's something there. There's something there, Gary. Like, he knew it when he saw her.
Yeah. Across the multiverse, they were meant to be.
Yes.
And this is the woman who planted the seed of goodness, the genetic DNA of goodness into Scott in the first place. And this is pretty dumb, this whole bit, where he's like, her tenacity and her, I am drawn to her because of her will to live and stuff. And the idea that like him just, seeing her, because he was fighting the X-Men, he was back at Magneto's base. He was sent there to fight the X-Men. They captured her, and he was just so inspired by her that he became, a traitor and started letting people free. Based on like no words discussed or anything like that, like no years of therapy, just like the look of steely resolve in her eyes and stuff. Like, this is all pretty dumb. To me. I
do like that when this all happened like 3 years ago, and he was like, I was gonna let her go, but then Wolverine showed up and saved her, and I'm like, I don't think that's true, my man. And if you told me that today, if I was Logan, I'd say that you were a liar.
Yeah.
His words, whack. His moral goodness, whack.
I was talking about this off mic. I was reading comics for pleasure, and a guilty pleasure comic of mine is The Ultimates. Mark Millar, don't at me. I don't, I understand it's shitty in 2020. Not shitty, like super problematic, but it's just not very highbrow. But I was in a low energy place. There's a really funny bit where Hank Pym joins the evil side. He creates a bunch of Ultron robots. And then once the Ultimates start winning, he says, he's like, of course, Ultron robots, help the Ultimates, evacuate the civilians. And one of the robots is like, are you serious? He's like, he tries to play it off like he's been a good guy the entire time and he's a double agent. And it reminds me of this.
That's great.
But I love Ultron looking at him going, are you serious?
Really? For real?
Pretty funny. Yeah.
What if the dialogue box on that was just like a small dialogue box with just an undercase FR question mark?
Yeah. FR, what do you do? This is the flashback to him losing his eye and Wolverine losing his hand, which was still never really been explained how he could lose a hand from concussive force and have it not grow back.
Yeah. He said it. Jean Grey says that he fried Logan's hand with his optic blast. So like,
yeah,
did he fry it so bad it just stopped healing? So Wolverine just like cut it off and would like put a thing over it. Like, even that doesn't seem like it would be in line with their power. But they just really wanted that dude to have one hand. Let's not even.
Yeah. The parallel, like each of the source of their power is cut in half.
As Cyclops is saying in this panel, you're grasping at straws, Alex.
Yeah. So Alex, of course, like being a fucking idiot at this point, has the wrong idea. Like, he's like, let me take a shot. You and Jean Grey have been working together. This created the perfect. And he wasn't working with Jean Grey.
No.
He was just working on his own. Havoc says, I have a field recording of you helping that woman escape. You've been responsible for these breakouts. And Jean Grey is even like, are you nuts? Like, Cyclops, Cyclops is not my friend. He fucking took off my boyfriend's hand and it was good finger in hand. And they're kind of doing this thing, and Havoc basically says, like, if I'm wrong, prove it, kill Jean Grey. And we see the Guthries waiting in, like, I don't know, like some kind of crawl space.
Sure.
Down there waiting to attack. in case Cyclops refuses. And of course, that is exactly what he does.
The room makes no sense in any panel that the room is depicted in. So like they are just like hanging out. But as soon as he says no, Cannonball knocks him down, and very quickly his sister starts smashing him into the ground. The text here, like we have a couple of times in this issue where the text goes like big bold and red, which I'm like, are we doing this? Okay, cool. It just makes it really hard to read.
When Cannonball did it, the big bold text is yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
I hope that's not his voice. That's a sound effect for when he's blasting.
Dude, imagine if it was just like, do you remember the siren scream from the animated series?
Yeah.
It was just yee. It's just the fucking David Lynch video, right? Like it's just that. It's him in the mountains, just going
every time he uses his powers. This is why Cable wouldn't mentor him, because he's fucking yokel. Like, so they beat him up. Here they call him a traitor a lot, and he's beaten into submission here. The Guthries are going to get their promotion. They say, are we going to kill him? No, he needs to suffer villain shit. McCoy, take him and dissect him or something. So I love he's kind of all over the place.
Not even having the imagination for this, right? Like, he's just so fucking emotionally and mentally stunted that he's like, I don't know, just like hurt him or something. I guess I don't
science
know.
Him.
Yeah. Do bad science to him.
I love how McCoy is like, oh yeah, Sinister often spoke of the rich genetic stock of the Summers line. It's like, stop talking about my cum. I'm right here.
I'm just right here.
Like, I understand it's powerful, but Jesus Christ.
They strap Cyclops into a similar machine that Jean Grey is in, and as Hank McCoy is distracted talking about various other projects and evil things that he's doing, Jean is able to basically telekinesis off Scott's visor, and they are able to shoot Evil Beast and get away. And then they have a bunch of emotional conversations with Cyclops with his eyes squeezed shut, which I think is very funny. Like it's just got to be a weird way to talk. And then they start like running off, and then he doesn't put his visor on. Like that would be the first thing that I would do.
It seems like the kind of thing he might want to do. During this thing, it's very fiddly. Like she doesn't just take off his restraint; she has to move her inhibitor a little bit, and then take the restraints and stuff. It's like very mechanical. What's happening here? This whole thing is pretty. The cover is like, oh, Beast has them, and they just escape. They just zap them. Nothing happens. Beast is just torturing a cat. For no particular reason. He's got a cat hooked up to wires and he's zapping it. Sure, this is all pretty silly.
I mean, look, dude, that's evil. That's like, torturing a cat is pretty evil, Gary. I don't know if you know that.
No, it's super evil, but like, I don't know, eyes on the prize.
Like torturing a cat with no motive is more evil than torturing a cat with motive. Is what I'm going to say right now.
Is it more evil than torturing Jean Grey and Scott Summers?
Yeah, they've probably done some bad stuff. The cat is completely
Scott certainly
innocent.
Has. Yeah, the cat is innocent. I agree. I'm not pro cat torture. I'm just saying that it feels like I don't know why Beast is taking a moment to like do some sport torture instead of doing the thing he's supposed to be doing.
He's an artist. You know how artists have to like draw something different and to warm up. Like I don't understand how that works, but I see people doing it all the time.
People do say that.
If I was an artist, I would just draw the second thing good. Like I don't know.
Yeah. For an artist, I would simply create the masterpiece in the first place. We find out a little thing here. Rex comes to go tell Apocalypse that everyone escaped and Havoc is now the leader of the Pens. We find out Rex is a human, which I did not realize.
Me either.
So that seems like something that Apocalypse wouldn't do. And Apocalypse basically says like, listen, those pens were basically just a bone I was throwing to Sinister. All of the people in the prison are going to be called.
Yes.
And
they are also having this discussion in the middle of a bonfire. Like they are
Inferno.
They are just centered into a bonfire. Poor Rex having to deal with his asbestos clothing throughout all of this, and also Apocalypse.
Yeah. This is it's a bonfire of skulls as well.
Yes, it's just burning a bunch of skulls.
Yeah, being on brand here. So then the next issue is going to be dealing with that culling. We obviously don't want all the prisoners to be war crimed.
Yeah. Gonna have to.
So.
I bet our new team up is gonna have a lot of like conversations about why that's bad and how they definitely need to protect those people. And
Yep.
I bet they kiss at the end. I bet they're smooches.
And Wolverine's gonna arrive at the end just in time to see it and like,
oh man,
let her go and stuff. It's gonna be, or they're gonna get into a fight and Cyclops is gonna lose his other eye and Wolverine will lose his second hand.
Dude, that now you're here because now Cyclops can't watch Wolverine badly jack off and Wolverine can't badly jack off anymore. This is gonna be good. I think
I haven't
this
used
is good.
both the nubs.
Yeah.
I'm way into that. Still into this plot. I feel like a lot of stuff, like I kind of liked Factor X a little bit more when it was like this behind the scenes politicking, and now it's kind of just going to be a team up between Cyclops and Jean Grey. Like I'm into it, but I'm mildly less into it than I was in the early issues where it's kind of about the ins and outs and the day-to-day operations of the pens and shit.
Agreed. Yeah.
So.
But this is fine. Like I kind of expected, I mean, we all expected Scott and Jean to get back together, right? Like even the apocalypse is not, even the literal apocalypse is not going to keep them apart. So.
No, wild horses couldn't do it. Neither could wild apocalypses. Neither could wild horsemen. Wild horsemen couldn't keep us apart.
The wild horsemen of the apocalypse. You'd have to really like cram that into that verse, huh? Wild horsemen of the apocalypse.
That's gonna be it.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, we appreciate it. If you want to support the show, patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv is the place to do it. We appreciate all of the people that have done it so far. And if you're on the fence, maybe you should. You get access to this podcast early. You can get on the Slack. You can do all kinds of cool stuff. So go check that out. And also just thank you to everybody, since this is the first time we've recorded Days of Future Cast. Thank you to everybody that came out to Duckfest last weekend. It was
absolutely
super great. We had a really, really good time. So.
Yeah, good time, good turnout. Thanks everybody for donating.
Mm-hmm.
Really do appreciate it. And we'll see you next time.
Next time.